If you're considering moving to Boise, Idaho, and you're curious to learn more about one of its most popular nearby cities, Meridian, Idaho, well then you have come to the right place. Not only do my family and I live right here in Meridian, we also help people just like you every single day explore it and ultimately determine if it's their perfect fit. Tucked into the heart of the Treasure Valley and a lot larger than many initially anticipate, Meridian is currently one of the fastest growing cities in the country. And it's also the second largest city in all of Idaho, with just about 140,000 residents to date. The growth we've been witnessing shows no signs of slowing, and well, it's pretty easy to see why. With Meridian's family-friendly atmosphere, amazing parks, convenient access to great outdoor recreation, and just overall exceptional quality of life, people are flocking here. So in this video, we're going to be covering 4 main topics. We'll run you through all of the major roads and intersections, and then we're also going to tour you through a number of top communities and areas that you'll definitely want to know about. Then we're going to share some cons and drawbacks that you will want to know about before moving here, because, well, while it is a great place to live, no place is a utopia, right? And then finally, we're going to wrap it all up by diving into Meridian's true and current cost of living. So ultimately, by the end of this video, not only will you know the ins and outs of this highly sought after Boise suburb, you're also going to have a clear understanding of whether it's right for you and whomever it is who's coming alongside of you. So without further ado, let's break this all down. Okay, so let's start by busting through a not so exciting topic, but one that's important. Let's break down the basic layout of the city and get you familiar with Meridian's road system. Our biggest major roadways here crisscross the city in a grid of sorts, with several key arteries running parallel to each other, which really makes it convenient for commuters and residents alike. The first and largest roadway you need to know about to wrap your head around the area is I-84. I-84 is really the backbone of transportation across the Treasure Valley. Running from east to west, it connects Meridian to both Boise to its east and then Nampa to its west. Many residents commute via I-84, making it one of the busiest routes in the area. And now let's talk about the main roads that run north to south down and through I-84. So first there is Eagle Road, and Eagle Road is definitely one of Meridian's main thoroughfares, running north to south, and it is also the busiest road in the entire state of Idaho. So yep, it's packed with shopping, restaurants, grocery stores, commercial businesses, big box stores, and various franchises. Major intersections like Eagle and Ustick Road or Eagle and Fairview Avenue are key hubs for both traffic and commerce. Next, let's move 2 miles to the west of Eagle Road and talk about another major road here in Meridian, which is called, fittingly, Meridian Road. And Meridian Road also plays a vital role in connecting Meridian's downtown area with its other surrounding areas. It's often a very busy area and route, especially during rush hour as it links to key locations like I-84 and Eagle Road. We are currently seeing quite a lot of road construction here, which isn't too surprising considering, as I mentioned earlier, that Meridian is not only one of the fastest growing cities in the state of Idaho, but also across the entire nation. Additionally, Meridian Road intersects several schools and shopping centers, making it another just really hub for both local traffic and retail activity. And then just about a mile in between both of these two main roads, so between Eagle Road to the east and Meridian Road to the west, is another slightly smaller road with fewer lanes, but still a key road to know about, and it is called Locust Grove. So I'm going to pause here because I'm guessing you are starting to notice a trend with our major roadways here in Meridian. Yep, we have a lot of decent sized roads that run parallel to each other, which depending on where you're coming from may or may not be sounding like good news. And yes, it is definitely good news. Due to the way in which our roads are aligned in relation to each other, there is almost always a relatively easy plan B or C or even D for you to take if and when there's road construction, traffic, or a wreck of some kind. And one that typically doesn't add too much time to your overall commute. So that can of course be very convenient, and we've been told quite a number of times at this point that's certainly not the case in many other cities that people are flocking here from. Here's looking at you, San Francisco, Houston, and Los Angeles.
Just saying.
Okay, so now let's go back to Meridian Road and move another 2 miles to the west. There you will find 10 Mile Road. And yep, 10 Mile is another north to south corridor that's located on the western side of Meridian. And then the whole geographical area that 10 Mile runs through is really booming. So it's definitely becoming more developed with new restaurants, grocery stores, and shopping hotspots. Hello, Shields. And if you haven't been to a Shields yet, well then brace yourself because, well, Shields is truly in a class of its own. I could and should, and heck, I'm sure at some point will be making a video just covering Shields alone. It really is that cool, but I digress. Going back to 10 Mile Road, it's the third of really 4 main north to south roads that if you decide to make Meridian home, you'll be quite familiar with. And then the last north to south road to know about, but it's a bit smaller and really more like Locust Grove Road, which I briefed upon earlier, is Black Cat. And Black Cat Road runs along the far western tip of the central area of Meridian. So now let's talk about the roadways that run east to west, and these conveniently run parallel to I-84. And for these, let's start in South Meridian and then just work our way up. So first, at the far southern tip of Meridian, there's Amity Road. And then a mile north of Amity, you'll find Victory Road. And then another mile north of Victory, there's Overland. And then hopping over or under the freeway, so I-84, the next major road you get to is Franklin Road, followed by Pine and then Cherry Lane. And then 1 mile north of Cherry, there's Ustick Road. And then another mile up from that, there's McMillan Road. And then finally at the northern top of Meridian, you run into Chinden Boulevard. So as you can see, Meridian's roadways are laid out in a grid-like fashion, which once you wrap your head around is very helpful for commuting. Okay, so now that we got all of that out of the way, let's talk about some of Meridian's areas and neighborhoods that really help to make Meridian the place it is. If you've been researching Meridian for a while, you likely know that it is just an incredibly family-friendly community that's equally appealing really to both growing families and retirees alike. And well, there are a lot of just straight out fantastic neighborhoods and subdivisions to consider, all of which really have their own unique charm and ambiance. This past week, we had 4 different relocation clients come visit us, and all of them had Meridian at or very near the top of their lists. And you know what? For all 4 of them, their tours were all slightly different. And no, this isn't a steering, as they say in the real estate world. We're not breaking or weren't breaking any, ethic codes.
Calm down, calm down, calm down.
All of their tours were different because, well, they are all in very different phases of their lives, and they're looking for different types of homes and communities. We had one growing family with a baby on the way who only wanted to see new builds and new neighborhoods, so basically no older homes or fixer-uppers for them at this point. And then we had another great couple who's nearing retirement, and they're just going back and forth about whether or not they want to be in a 55-plus community, or if maybe they are all about that RV garage, which RV garages are pretty rare and hard to come by in 55-plus communities. They're just going back and forth about which is more important. And then the other 2 clients that we worked with had significantly different budgets than any of the others. Okay, so why am I telling you all of this? I'm mentioning it because it just highlights how much variety there really is here in Meridian. So if and when you get to that point that you're ready to explore the area, we will work with you and tour you through all the communities that are most in alignment with your goals and vision, and really what you want your Idaho lifestyle and really life to be like. But for the purposes of this video, let's cruise you through some widely popular areas and communities across Meridian. First, let's take you out to South Meridian. And South Meridian is pretty much everything within Meridian city limits that's located south of I-84. So here we are in Sky Mesa. Sky Mesa is a Boise Hunter Homes development, and it is a very popular one with both growing families and retirees alike. One of the standout features of Sky Mesa is its impressive upscale amenities. They've got 2 infinity edge swimming pools, which offer that luxury resort vibe and feel, and they're pretty darn unique for the Treasure Valley. Sky Mesa has a number of homes built up on a ridge of sorts, which offers those homeowners some just great views of Bogus Basin and the Boise Valley. Valley. They also have a basketball court area, miles of walking paths, and great open shared green spaces. It's also super close to just about everything you could want. So there's great schools nearby. The new Meridian YMCA is just minutes away, as well as the new Albertsons. And then it's also just minutes from Discovery Park. And then I-84 is also super close, but not so close that you can hear it, which is nice. And that also means, of course, that commuting to just about anywhere in the valley isn't too bad. And then right across the road from Sky Mesa, so Eagle Road to be specific, now that you're, getting familiar with the roads, you'll find Century Farms. Century Farms is another newer community in South Meridian that was definitely designed with modern meets farmhouse living in mind. The farmhouse vibe is definitely easy to pick up on and something that most people we drive through the community comment on. And then Century Farms actually has the new Meridian YMCA that I was just mentioning. It is right within Century Farms. And then there's also Hillsdale Elementary there and a library. And with all of the great walking and jogging trails that they have throughout their community, residents really love that they can access all three of these super easily and directly. And then if that more well-established neighborhood vibe and feel is what you're after, well then Tuscany is definitely going to be a community for you to check out. Oftentimes compared to Paramount, which is a community in North Meridian, which I will dive into here shortly, Tuscany is a widely popular, lovely, older community as one of Meridian's largest master plan communities, and with just all of its awesome amenities. They've got 5 swimming pools and several great parks, including Renaissance Park, which is always a key place for sports practices and get-togethers and birthday parties and dog walkers and joggers alike. Oh, and then they also have an elementary school right in the community, Sienna Elementary, which, well, there is just something to be said about communities that are centered around elementary schools and middle schools too, for that matter. But for whatever reason, I feel like that vibe is just strongest in the communities with K through 5 schools right in them. So yeah, Tuscany is pretty special. Or if you're thinking new is the way you want to go, there's also Lavender Heights and Pinnacle. 2 separate communities for sure, but both great and worth noting as they are both right by Discovery Park, which is a 62-acre park that is truly just kind of the best. It's one of our boys' favorites. And then in addition to views of the Bogus Basin Valley and or the Owyhees, both of these have great community pools, and they are also super close to the Meridian YMCA that I've mentioned, great schools, and the new Albertsons. Or maybe you are wanting a newer community, but you don't need all the bells and whistles, i.e. a community pool doesn't appeal to you, you're not going to be using it, so why be paying an HOA fee for it? Built by the highly regarded Black Rock Homes team, East Ridge Village, which is a gated community just south of Discovery Park, is another great community for you to check out. With a wonderful community dog park right there and mountain views for some of the homes anyhow, and a low maintenance lock it and leave it lifestyle sized lots and homes, East Ridge appeals to many. I could truly go on and on about all the communities just in this section of Meridian alone, and actually I have in previous videos, so if you're looking for a more in-depth tour of communities in South Meridian, I will post a link to several other videos for you to check out in the description of this video. But to keep this video from being, well, just forever long, next let's pop over to North Meridian. So everything in Meridian that's located north of the freeway, so I-84, that's what we are referring to when we talk about North Meridian. First, let's take you into Paramount. As another one of Meridian's largest master plan communities, Paramount residents love calling it home due to its great location. It's close to shopping, restaurants, parks, and more, as well as its great blend of just modern and traditional and craftsman homes, and then just fantastic amenities, and it's just overall strong sense of community. In addition to their 4 community swimming pools and their great playground areas and parks, they also have a fantastic elementary school right there in the community, which is called, fittingly, Paramount Elementary. So similar to the Tuscany community that we toured you through in South Meridian, that certainly adds to the community's vibe and overall feel. It's an ideal neighborhood for both families as well as retirees. There is a 55+ community right there in Paramount, which we have found that some retirees like. But then again, there are quite a number of retirees who love calling Paramount home, and they are not in that 55+ section of the community. So it's totally just up to personal preference and what you're after.
Well, different strokes for different folks.
And then just about a mile from Paramount, there's Bridge Tower, which is another super popular North Meridian community with 2 swimming pools, multiple parks, picnic areas, playgrounds, and miles of walking and biking paths. It's also very close to great schools. The Meridian Costco is also nearby, and they've got restaurants and various shopping areas too. Residents love the well-established, mature landscaping and the wide variety of home styles and sizes that they have there. Bridge Tower just really appeals to quite a range of households and residents. I just realized I never introduced myself. Sorry about that. So if this is your first time to our channel, hi, I am Marcie Ellison, a local real estate agent here in Boise's beautiful Treasure Valley. Our goal with this channel is to put together on-the-ground, candid videos that really would have helped us 20 years ago when we were contemplating moving here. We post videos every single week featuring on-the-ground tours throughout Boise and its valley. So to be sure you don't miss out on any of those, and it also kind of just makes us happy to see that little subscriber number tick up, please take a quick second to tap that little subscribe button. Okay, so now let's dive back into our community tour. Now we are going to move up a little from the community of Bridge Tower that we were just in and take you through Spurwing. Built around a golf course, Spurwing is a very well recognized and highly desirable community. Homes here typically build equity very well. Across Spurwing, they have a wide variety and range of homes, from patio homes with zero maintenance landscaping to sprawling estates on over an acre and just incredible views. There's really a lot in Spurwing to take in and explore. Residents, even those non-golfers out there, love the amenities that the community offers. They've got great community pools, walking paths, a fitness center, pickleball and tennis courts, and of course parks and playground areas and lots of open shared green space. It's also very close to shopping. The Meridian Costco is right across the way, right across Chinden Boulevard actually. And then there are also restaurants, grocery stores, really just anything you can imagine is pretty darn close. And then right across the road from Spurwing, there's Bainbridge, which is yet another fantastic Meridian community. It's well known for its well-crafted homes with contemporary designs, as well as all of its great amenities. So walking paths, parks, playgrounds, a swimming pool, just one, but sometimes you don't need multiple. It just depends on the community and the person. The location, similar to Spurwing, is another highlight with quick and easy access to schools, shopping, dining, and again, the Meridian Costco. I keep talking about it, but people do love Costco, right?
I would say so, yes.
Bainbridge is just really popular with both families and retirees alike. Similar to Paramount and Century Farms, there is a section of Bainbridge that is 55 plus only. So for some retirees, that can be very appealing. And now if you are looking for a more in-depth tour into communities in North Meridian, we've got a video tour covering that as well, of course, which I will link to in the description of this video. Or if perhaps you're now just looking to kind of wrap your head around some of the key differences between these two areas of Meridian, so you want to know which side, so the south side versus the north side, is going to be the best fit for you, we also have a video tour in which we dive into that very topic, which we'll link to. Okay, so at this point, I feel like I've pretty much covered quite a number of pros about what living in Meridian is like. But like all places, it's certainly not perfect. It's not a utopia. So now I'm going to highlight 4 big cons, drawbacks, and complaints that we're currently hearing about quite a lot, and or that we're dealing with ourselves as Meridian residents. First up, with all the growth we have seen, there is now traffic congestion. And the boom we've seen, traffic has undeniably become more of an issue, particularly on roads like that I mentioned earlier, and at intersections like Fairview and Meridian Road. And yes, your take on this is going to be directly dependent on where you're coming from and therefore what you are comparing it to. But for many longtime locals, the increase in traffic we're seeing has caused some frustration. And now, number 2, rising housing costs. While a lot of our Meridian neighborhoods are still, in comparison to other similar-sized booming cities across the U.S., relatively affordable, housing prices have undeniably risen pretty significantly over recent years, and that's due, of course, the incredible demand we're seeing and are just continuing to see each and every day. As of today, and up to this point for the year, the average home sales price across Meridian is just under $600,000, which if you were to, hop into your DeLorean and bounce back 5 years ago, so back in 2019, the average home sales price at that point here in Meridian was just under $365,000. So yeah, that's quite a significant difference.
Sheesh.
Number 3, and this is one that we are often hearing shared by locals. Well, significant urban sprawl. As the city has and continues to expand, some areas now feel a bit more spread out, requiring longer commutes to reach certain amenities or job hubs. But well, like so many things, this one may or may not be an issue for you because again, really, it's all relative and is going to come down to where you're coming from and therefore what you're comparing it to, right? And then last, let's talk about con number 4. What's the deal with public transportation? Well, my friend, there really isn't much in the way of public transportation here. I mean, there is a little, but well, when I say a little, I mean like a tiny, minuscule, tiny amount. Basically, well, you're definitely going to want to own a car because if you don't, and you are instead hoping to rely on Meridian's public transportation system, yowza, it's not going to be too much fun for you. If you're curious to know more about what options are available, I'll put a link to the City of Meridian's current public transportation offerings in the description of this video. Okay, so now if you're serious about moving to Meridian, you are going to want to be sure you have your head wrapped around what you can expect when it comes to our overall cost of living. Overall, while Meridian has become increasingly expensive, it remains relatively affordable compared to many major cities on and near the West Coast. As we just discussed, our housing prices and costs here are significantly higher than they used to be. And since you are watching this video and you just learned that our current average home sales price is hovering right under the $600,000 mark, to take that info a step further, if you're curious to know what the full range of prices really is, so with the lowest and the lowest cheapest single family home that is sold this year, excluding non-disclosed home sales and quit claims, of course, the lowest home sold for $245,000 and the highest, most expensive home was bought for just over $3 million. And then if you're a number nerd and also are curious about the median sales price, and no judgment here, it takes one to know one, that's right at $540,000. And then rent-wise, most standard 3-bed, 2-bath residential homes are renting out for anywhere between $1,750 to $2,800 per month, depending, of course, on the location and the home, of course. Or apartment-wise, the average 2-bedroom apartment is currently hovering right around the $1,300 to $1,900 a month mark. Next, let's talk about utilities, and this is one that typically pleases people to hear about. But again, that's going to depend on where you're coming from and therefore what you're comparing it to. But it certainly seems that utilities here in Meridian are pretty darn reasonably priced, especially compared to so many other cities that we're seeing so many people moving here from. For a typical sized household, most could expect to pay around $250 to $350 per month for electricity, water, sewer, and trash services. And then if your home has a great yard and you're worried about what all that water to maintain it is going to cost you, I've got some good news for you. Assuming you're living in an area of Meridian with access to irrigation water, which includes the vast majority of Meridian's neighborhoods and communities, you're going to be paying a once-a-year tax for the full watering season. So for my house, we live on a decent sized lot. We're on over 1/3 of an acre, and we have a relatively large front and back garden. We paid $125 this year and have been happily watering all of our plants, trees, grass, and hanging baskets since mid-spring. And our irrigation water is only now, and we are right at the beginning of October, it's about to be shut off now. And it's okay because our yards no longer need the water, and they won't until next spring. So paying that $125 fee, or whatever the current year's rate is, but it's typically right in that range, once and then being good to go is certainly pretty great. And I love that I never have to second guess buying another plant or perennial due to water concerns or costs, which apparently we have heard is a significant concern for a number of neighboring states. Not to mention any names or anything, but
California.
Okay, so now let's move on to groceries. And this one is a little difficult to quantify because, of course, we all shop and eat differently, right? But in general, grocery costs in Meridian are slightly below the national average. A weekly grocery bill for a family of 4 might range somewhere between $175 to $250, depending on shopping habits. For my family with 2 growing boys, and well, with my husband's extended family all over the valley and our frequent get-togethers, we definitely spend a bit more than that on a weekly basis. But we've certainly worked with clients and have friends and family who stick to a pretty set grocery budget, and that range, so about $175 to $250 for a family of 4, seems to be relatively normal. And that's even after the crazy inflation we have seen over recent years across the country. And then when it comes to taxes and insurance, both are relatively moderate compared to national levels. I actually filmed a full video on this too, which I will link to in the description of this video. For the purposes of this video though, just know that here in Idaho, we have a flat 5.8% income tax, and then we also have a sales tax, which is 6%. And this does apply to most goods and services, including groceries. And the groceries part of it is what usually throws most people. Property tax-wise, Meridian taxes can vary based on the current levy, but as of right now, our levy rate, so our property tax rate, is, well, it's this ugly number, which I will pop up, which basically means it's what? 0.497%, or I guess let's just round up. So roughly it's about 0.48%. So that is the amount that's applied to the assessed value of your home to determine what you owe property tax-wise. But, and this next bit will help you as it'll help you save come tax time. If you're going to be living in your home as your primary residence, you will qualify for a $125,000 homeowner's exemption, which basically means that they will deduct $125K from the assessed value of your home prior to applying that 0.48% levy rate. So that definitely helps come tax day. And if you're curious to know more about what applying for that exemption, like what that process looks like, it's super easy. And if when the time comes, we can walk you through it. And they will also walk you through it at the title company come closing day. So for now, just rest assured that it's an easy process. And then as far as homeowners insurance goes, premiums in Idaho tend to be more affordable than many other states, with the average annual cost being right around $900 to $1,200 per year, depending on your property's value, location, and specific coverage. Idaho's relatively mild weather, apart from occasional snowstorms and some wildfire risks in certain areas, contributes to keeping insurance rates lower than in states prone to more extreme natural disasters. However, factors like home size, age, and whether you live in a wildfire-prone area can affect your specific insurance costs. Overall, Idaho offers a tax-friendly environment with manageable insurance costs for homeowners. And then if you are concerned about flood insurance, we also have a full video dedicated to that you can check out. For the purposes of this video though, just know that if you flip out over a home that is deemed to be in a flood zone by FEMA, then you will likely be looking to add flood insurance to your overall insurance package, which typically ranges right around $550 to $700 for the full year. That said, there are very, very few communities within Meridian city limits that are in flood zones. So to wrap up this section on the cost of living, while Meridian has, like so many other cities across the nation, become increasingly more expensive, especially in terms of housing, it remains relatively affordable compared to the majority of other major cities on or around the West Coast. And for many, the incredible quality of life Meridian offers, well, it just makes the increased cost of living that we've seen worth it, or at least certainly easier to grapple with. If you're considering making a move to Meridian, we sure hope that this video helped give you a clearer picture of what your life here could really look like. If you have any questions that I didn't address in this video, or if you'd like to know more about any of the communities I toured you guys through, or maybe you're wondering about an area that I didn't brief upon in this video, give us a call or shoot us a quick text or an email and we'd be happy to help. My very laid back and incredibly low pressure, but also highly detailed and proven team are here and ready to help in any way we can. Or if you aren't quite ready to reach out, but would like to continue learning about what living here in Boise surrounding Treasure Valley is really like, please tap that little subscribe button so you can see new videos when we post them, and or download our completely free and no strings attached relocation guide that is just packed with information. I will put a link to that in the description of this video too. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day.